Breaking news. The NFL season has barely kicked off, and we already have a major storyline that could completely shift the balance in Week 1. The Pittsburgh Steelers are gearing up to face the New York Jets, but the Jets have just taken a devastating blow that could change everything on the field. Before we dive into the details of this shocking update, make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and don't forget to press the bell icon so you never miss the latest breaking NFL news. Now let's get straight to it. The Jets are heading into Week 1 without their top offensive lineman, Elijah Vera Tucker. He's not only out for the season opener, but he's officially done for the year after a serious triceps injury that requires surgery. This leaves the Jets' offensive line in absolute chaos, and the Steelers' defense couldn't have asked for a better setup. Just picture it, TJ Watt lining up against a rookie, making his very first NFL start. On the other side, Alex Highsmith and Nick Herbig rotating in, putting relentless pressure on the edge. Inside, Cam Hayward and Keanu Benton will be feasting on whatever patchwork interior the Jets can throw together. Newman, Myers, Tipman, Simpson, it doesn't matter. That's not the matchup you want against Pittsburgh's front seven. And let's be honest, if the Jets want any chance of survival, they'll have to rely heavily on their run game with Justin Fields, Breece Hall, and Braylon Allen. But here's the Steelers' first key to victory: sell out to stop the run. Force Fields to throw the ball. Because as talented as he is on the ground, serious questions remain about whether he can win consistently with his arm. Outside of Garrett Wilson, his passing weapons are shaky at best. The Steelers' game plan on defense is crystal clear: shut down the Jets' rushing attack and force Justin Fields into uncomfortable situations. Pittsburgh's secondary is strong enough to handle the Jets' receivers without constant double teams, which gives the defense freedom to stack the box and overload the line of scrimmage. That means TJ Watt, Alex Highsmith, Nick Herbig, and the interior line can not only crash the pocket in passing situations, but also dominate the trenches when New York tries to run. On paper, this matchup tilts heavily in favor of the Steelers' front seven. The priority is simple: take away the ground game and make Fields prove he can win with his arm. But while the defense has its blueprint, the bigger spotlight in Week 1 shines on the Steelers' offense, and more specifically, Aaron Rodgers. And here's a wild stat for you. This will be the first time in NFL history that two quarterbacks face their former teams in a Week 1 matchup. Rodgers against the Jets, Fields against the Steelers. That alone sets the stage for drama. And Rodgers? He's already hinting at what could become the X factor of this new-look offense. Forget the outside noise about wide receivers. He believes the strength of this team lies in the tight end room. In fact, Rodgers went as far as saying this is the deepest, most talented tight end group he's had in his entire career. That's a bold statement coming from a 21-year veteran. With four versatile tight ends who can block, stretch the field, and create mismatches, the Steelers may have quietly built one of the most dangerous and unpredictable offensive arsenals in the league. And if Rodgers is right, Pittsburgh fans might be about to see a style of offense they haven't witnessed in years. When you break down the Steelers' tight end room, the versatility jumps off the page. Pat Freiermuth is the steady anchor, reliable, smooth in his routes, and a natural security blanket for any quarterback. He thrives from the slot or lined up tight, moving the chains with crisp route running and dependable hands. Then you've got Jonnu Smith, who brings a completely different dimension. He can line up anywhere, wide, in the slot, at H-back, even in the backfield. He's a true Swiss Army knife with speed after the catch and the kind of red zone presence that keeps defenses guessing. But here's where it gets really exciting. Aaron Rodgers isn't just talking about the proven names. He's shining the spotlight on Darnell Washington, the 6'7" mismatch nightmare who has been underutilized since entering the league. Rodgers has openly said Washington reminds him of Mercedes Lewis, a trusted target from his Green Bay days. And that comparison is no accident. In recent practices, Rodgers made it clear he wants Washington featured more, especially in the red zone. The size, the reach, the ability to go up and grab contested passes. Washington has all the tools to become a game-changer inside the 20. Rodgers has already been testing him with a barrage of throws in tight spaces, and the early signs suggest Washington may finally be unleashed this season. For years, fans wondered if Pittsburgh was truly tapping into his potential. With Rodgers under center, that wait might finally be over. Darnell Washington isn't the only intriguing name in this tight end group. Connor Hayward could also see his role expand in 2024. While his opportunities were limited last season, every time he touched the field he showed flashes, whether as a blocker, a utility piece, or a reliable short yardage option. Now with Aaron Rodgers praising him, there's a real chance we see Hayward integrated more creatively into the offense. But the recent chatter about him calling himself the Steelers' scapegoat, that doesn't really hold up. A scapegoat is someone unfairly blamed for a team's failures. And let's be honest, nobody has been pointing fingers at Connor Hayward for Pittsburgh's struggles. Fans may have questioned whether there was room for him on the roster, given the depth at running back, wide receiver, and tight end, but that's far from blaming him for losses. If we're talking scapegoats, history shows those labels usually land on bigger names: quarterbacks, coaches, star players with high expectations. Last year, much of the criticism was directed at Russell Wilson during that late-season collapse. Moving forward, if things go wrong, the focus will be on Aaron Rodgers, Mike Tomlin, or even veterans like Cam Hayward and TJ Watt, not a depth tight end trying to carve out his role. For Connor Hayward, the narrative is simple. He doesn't need to worry about being a scapegoat. What he needs is opportunity. And with Rodgers actively voicing his support, that opportunity may finally be arriving. There's even been some lighthearted chatter about a new tradition in Pittsburgh. For years, fans echoed Heath every time Heath Miller caught a pass, and that torch was passed to Muth for Pat Freiermuth. Now with Jonnu Smith joining the group, some are wondering, does he earn his own chant, or does he have to prove it first? Maybe the answer is simple. When he hauls in his first touchdown in black and gold, the crowd will know exactly what to yell. But while the chants make for fun conversation, the real story of Week 1 comes back to one man, Aaron Rodgers. Everything on offense flows through him. The game plan, the audibles at the line, the rhythm of the passing attack, it all starts and ends with Rodgers. If the offensive line holds up and gives him time, he has the weapons and the vision to pick apart any defense, including his former team. And that's the real headline of this matchup: Rodgers versus Justin Fields. Two quarterbacks, both facing the franchises that let them go. Two storylines colliding in Week 1. But if you ask me who has the edge, the answer is clear. Rodgers' experience, his command of the game, and the pieces around him give the Steelers a major advantage. If he's locked in, Pittsburgh won't just win this game. They'll set the tone for the entire season. Here's the reality. Justin Fields is walking into one of the toughest defensive matchups he'll face all year. New team, new system, and limited time to settle in. He's simply trying to execute the basics. Meanwhile, Aaron Rodgers is operating at a completely different level. With 2 decades of experience, his mastery of reading defenses, making adjustments at the line, and exploiting matchups gives him a massive edge. And let's not forget the motivation factor. This is Rodgers against his former team. History tells us he thrives when people doubt him, whether it was being overlooked in the draft, sitting behind Brett Favre, or proving critics wrong after the Jordan Love pick. Every time Rodgers has been pushed into a corner, he's responded with MVP-level play. Why would this be any different? The supporting cast tilts in Pittsburgh's favor, too. At wide receiver, DK Metcalf, Calvin Austin, and Roman Wilson bring far more upside than what the Jets can offer behind Garrett Wilson. The running back battle is close, but the Steelers' tight end group isn't even a contest. Freiermuth, Jonnu Smith, Darnell Washington, and Connor Hayward form one of the deepest units in the NFL. Put it all together: Rodgers' experience, the weapons around him, and the fire of a revenge game. And it points to one outcome. The Steelers make a statement. Expect Rodgers to throw multiple touchdowns and Pittsburgh to control this matchup from start to finish. My prediction? Steelers 28, Jets 10. A dominant opener and the kind of win that sets the tone for the season ahead.